Welcome back, everybody. Today we got kind of a number of things going on. I'm going to try to install an LS1 water pump, and there's some different things with the water pump that I wanted to point out. Because I'm using a truck pulley, and I'm doing that on purpose because I want to run air conditioning, power steering, but I want the low profile pulley. So when you do the LS1 pulley, you have to extend it out so that it matches up with the truck pulley that I'm using for my accessories. Also, I have the Brian Tooley Racing steam vent kit, which I'm going to install, but if we make it to that, excellent. If we don't, then that'll be another video. We have the spark plugs, which are here. These are the NOx sensors. We'll install those. And we have our spark plug wires and heat shields. We're going to put the heat shields on because of the headers, and we're going to be using shorty headers for the engine, but I don't know if we'll get to that today, but we're just going to go until the cameras die. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to prep my surfaces and kind of set up for the water pump install. So, as you can see, where the water pump mounts, because of the antifreeze and just the passageways will pit often, and you need to check in that pitting and make sure that you get all the old gasket material out, because the old gasket material can leave a void in your seal. Now, to make the LS1 water pump come out to where it fits the truck crank, you have to get the 3/4 inch adapters. And they basically go here to extend the water pump out. One thing that I like about these adapters is they have a place that you can mount the steam vent. Some people say run the steam vent straight into the water pump. Some people say run it to your radiator. Because this is not going to be a drag racing car, it's going to be an everyday driver with a lot of performance, I'm just going to run the steam vent into the actual spacer. And it's a kit that you can get on eBay or Amazon. And I'm going to use a kind of a two-tool process to this. And to get off a lot of the gasket material, I'm going to use a brass wire brush. Try not to stay on one position too long. Kind of feel it with your finger. Feels pretty decent. And once that you feel like you've gotten most of the material off, I like to use a 300 grit soft sanding pad just to make sure I get any of those fine scratches out of the way. And another thing that we'll want to do is clean out our bolt holes.
Figure why you would be brushing at least every 2 feet out. Well, that wouldn't have to work my fan.
And so that is a part for Jolene. And everyone can see 62 through 65 cowl hood. It is a 2-inch cowl hood for Jolene. It's going to really improve the looks, and I'm excited about putting that on. Same concept is you want these dry so that no water or moisture is trapped. It's like I left an engine block plug in there. Excellent. Okay, we're going to go ahead and install the knock sensors. So the knock sensors generally go in this part of the engine, but I wanted to have a smooth top. So I got these from ICT Billet to relocate my knock sensors. And simply, once that you mount them, right here, then you can install your knock sensor right into the holder, or you can put them in the back. So it gives you multiple positions. That you can install them. It's hard to get it in the block here, so I prefer down here. Plus it keeps it low. Now, one thing about installing these knock sensors in this position is you're going to have to get a knock sensor extension kit that extends the factory wiring harness. And we have installed the other one on this side. And again, you can go down or forward, but we're going to have an air conditioning unit here. So again, we're going to face it down. And I put them in hand tight. we'll have to come back and torque. So, knock sensor installation. And we have our spark plugs. This is where, again, the AC is going to mount. We want to be careful because of our engine mounts. With, make sure that we don't have any clearance issues. I bought these plugs specifically for the LS application. And again, I'm just hand tightening. And I'll come back and look up the torque specification. And I'll look up the torque specification for the plugs. Let's go do the other side. All right, so now we have all our plugs in. Let's see if we can find a torque specification in our handy dandy shop manual. And if all else fails, we can just look it up on the internet.
We have technology.
11 foot-pounds. Okay. So, let's set our torque wrench. We're at 11 foot-pounds. And let's get our spark plug wrench. And it's going to be a 5/8. And it doesn't take a lot. So a little bit, like it's almost just a little bit over hand tightening. Okay. Now, let's look at installing headers. And let's see what the torque specification is on the headers. So these are the headers we have for our engine. Very nice. These are going to fit very, very nice. Okay. So now, and what we're going to do is we're not going to put any lube or anything on the headers. All we're doing now is just bolting them on because I want to wrap the headers for heat and to protect the engine. So for now, it's just a temporary install. Now what we'll do a permanent install is we're going to put some anti-seize on the header bolts. These things are notorious for breaking off, and we're going to wrap the headers with heat wrap. Okay. I love this engine stand that Jegs has. It's really inexpensive and very user-friendly. In the video, I'll put where I got these headers. One thing that I have found myself during this build, a very common mistake that I've been making, is in my planning. I'm buying some parts before I need to, and it's basically causing me to buy extra and things that I don't need. So when we first started this series, it was about a budget build, and lesson number one about a budget build is plan properly. What is that? Proper planning prevents poor performance. The golden rule. And I didn't think about it for myself, right? And we do have a new sensor, water temp sensor. I just haven't decided what side that I want to put it on yet. Well, hello, partner. Better. What you eating? Okay, leaf is okay. Ooh, we got one that we'll have to do a wrench with. So you want to be careful. So we're looking at items like, I still have plenty of rooms for my engine mount, accessories. Hopefully these headers will work. I'm pretty sure that they will. But we'll see if I have to buy anything else. And also with the kit, we have the adapters that we'll be able to put on. And you know what? I'm hoping they'll work, but these are the adapters where you can put your O2 sensors. We're not going to put those on now. We don't need to. And now for the plug wires. Plug wires and heat shields. And these are all pretty much the same size. I'm pretty sure I'm going to double check which way these things go on. So it's showing the stitching up. This is the Earl's Steam Vent kit from Brian Chili Racing. I really like it. It uses AN. It's very high quality. And I'm going to start getting it assembled. The important thing here is the O-rings. So on the back, we're just going to run a 90 because we want to keep the back open and run it up into the front, down into the water pump. See, you want to make sure the O-ring is in here. Then you set the fitting into the Earl's house. Oh, that's why these holes are taped up. And we'll just temp install to begin with so that we can make sure what angle that we want to be at. Notice that they are a little different, and I'll show in a minute. This has a solid top because we're going to terminate right there. It's probably a 6. Or 5. Let's try that. Let's try a 5. Okay, there we go. And again, it's just hand tighten. And because these fittings, you want to go all the way through, you're going to have 2 gaskets. And notice that we're continuing the steam flow so we don't terminate. This will go through the top. That's why you'll have two on this one. But they mount the same as the other one. Just going to hand tighten them. I'll torque them after we build the hoses. And see, you can turn these. I really like the way that is. And what we're going to do is run our hose back here to here, connect them, and feed it to the water pump. I chose AN fittings because there's no need for sealant. The only disadvantage is that they're very expensive. Brian Tooley. Outstanding. Brian Tooley has been such a pleasure to work with. Experts in the LS world, in my opinion. Shout out to Brian Tooley Racing, as always. And not only do they make a very nice performance engine, they really make it beautiful. Look at that engine with Brian Tooley's name on it.